Well, hello. It is Sunday, March 9th, and it's just me up here today by myself. Wanted to come up and do some work on the G3X, a little more work on there. I got to thinking yesterday, after I shot that video of that config, and I put a note on the video, like I think I was way overcomplicating it. So I was going to look at that again and see if there's some easier ways to accomplish what I wanted to get done. So I'm going to take a look at that and see what I can get. I did some thinking on what I did yesterday about that oil temperature RPM green band, and I wanted to show a different way to do this. And so we're back into config mode. We're on the engine and airframe tab, and what I want to do is, let's see, I've got an oil temp, I've got my invisible range that I had set before between 90 and 245 degrees. That's the invisible range that would set the logic that I would tell the RPM gauge to turn green. So I think I've still got that set in here. I've been messing around with this for a little bit. So let's see if I've got that set on the RPM. I've got the band set, and so we'll go to RPM 1, and we've got a green, looks like, no, I took the green band out. So let's put the green band, or the green range, back in. Okay, we'll add the green band, and we want the green band to stop at 2600. So, green, not band, range, green range. Minimum, we'll say 700. Maximum, 2600. And then remember, we had that logic set with the oil temperature. It comes on at 90 degrees. It sets logic 1. We're going to do a set logic signal, or sorry, we're going to require logic signal set. So we're going to say this band, this range, requires a logic signal that has been set. The logic signal won't be set, logic signal 1 won't be set until the oil temperature is above 90 degrees. So require logic signal set. And remember that logic signal was 1. We've got it set to 1, and then we can save it. So what happens when we get to 90 degrees? That band turns green. Another thing that you can do is, let's save that. And let's say you want the oil to be 90 degrees for 5 minutes before you get that green band on the RPM. You want to make sure that it's at least 90 and has been warming above 90 for, we'll say, 5 minutes. What you do is, in the engine and airframe section, you go to the settings tab, you go to your logic signals, and then you can configure your logic signals. These are all of the logic signals. Looks like there's 10 of them that are available. So we've already got number 1 set to set by oil temp. We'll tap that. So there we are. Now we can delay how long we want that to wait. So we could say delay before set is how many seconds? 5 times 60 is 300 seconds. We'll go 300 seconds. And we enter that. So there's a 300-second delay. I think that's 300-second delay until, once logic 1 has been set, there's a delay of 300 seconds before it will actually turn that logic on, and then turn that band green on that gauge. Then you can also delay before clear. So let's say you wanted it to clear, you wanted it to delay the green band until it was below 90 degrees for X number of minutes, for 1 minute. Then you could say delay before clear of 60 seconds. Now what happens is when it triggers the signal logic at 90 degrees, it waits 5 minutes before it turns that gauge on, turns that range on. When it drops below 90 degrees, it waits for 60 seconds to turn that green range off. I mean, I'm not going to do that, so I'll clear that. 0. Turn that back off, set that to 0. Another thing you can do, you wouldn't necessarily use this for an oil temperature logic set, you might use it for something else. You can have airspeed thresholds or altitude thresholds set. So let's say you wanted the RPM gauge to not, the gauge range to not turn green until you were at an indicated airspeed of above 80 knots. So it would wait until it gets above 80 knots and then it would turn that range green. You can have it go below 80 knots. Let's say anytime the airspeed's below 80 knots and the oil temperature is above 90 degrees, then it will turn that on. There's so many little things you can do in here. Indicated airspeed, true airspeed, Mach number. That's not a factor in this airplane. You can do altitude thresholds, barometric, pressure, density, height above ground. You can have all kinds of things. You have up to 10 logic signals in this. Okay, here's an example of a condition logic that you can use. Let's say you've got a propeller and engine combination that due to harmonics you're not supposed to operate the engine, let's say between 2400 and 2500 RPM while the manifold pressure is between 24 and 25 inches. I mean, that's not applicable here, but it's just as an example. So let's say you'll go to the engine and airframe config, and we're going to set, we're going to add an invisible range because we don't care about it in the manifold gauge itself, but that's what's going to trigger everything, the manifold pressure. And we'll go new gauge. We'll use an invisible range of 24 to 25 inches. Actually, let me back this up. So right now I'm sitting at 26 inches of manifold pressure. Let's make this range 24 to 27 inches, so I can show it in action here. So we're going to set logic signal 3. Save that. Okay, so we have our manifold pressure set, invisible range 24 to 27 inches, invisible range with a logic signal 3. So we're going to set logic signal 3. Next we go to our RPM gauge, and on this we're going to add, let's add a yellow range of 1500 to 2000 RPM. And the trigger, this is going to require a logic signal, so we're going to require logic signal set, and then we're going to use logic signal 3 because that's what I set up in the other on the manifold pressure gauge. So we're going to go enter, and when I hit save you're going to see a yellow band on here. There's our yellow band between 1500 and 2000 RPM because we're currently at 26 inches of manifold pressure, which falls within that range. Now if, let's say, the manifold pressure is outside of that range, let's just change this invisible range gauge to 25 inches. And we'll save that and save that. And now look, our RPM gauge doesn't have a yellow band on there. But once this manifold pressure falls within that range, that yellow band appears. So that's something you can do there. And like I said, you can do timers on this. Like if you've got maybe you can only operate within a certain manifold pressure range for 2 minutes. You can set that to alert once that 2-minute timer expires. Things like that. All kinds of stuff you can do with this. I'm I really don't know much about it other than kind of setting these little ranges and a few timers, but I think there's a lot more that can be done with this. So it's kind of nice stuff. Hey, something else to show you on this, and I don't know what version this happened on, but there is, let's see, you can change this side display so that it combines, and I talked about this in a previous video, I don't remember which one it is, but where it combines the RPM gauge and the manifold pressure gauge into one and gives you more information on the sidebar, on the EFIS when you're in normal mode. And to set that as user selectable, you're going to go to display, and if it's not set, let's see, it is, so this this page layout, you go EIS engine page layout, and if you have it set to user selected, you can go in through the display menu on during normal mode and you can change it from this display, and I'm just going to change it on here to this style of a display where you get combines these the manifold and RPM, but then it adds your main bus voltage or whatever input you want there. It adds these two. I've got main bus voltage and the EFIS battery backup voltage showing on there. The other one is combined, which splits that out. Now let's switch this to user selected and back. And save, let it reboot. So this is in combined mode, and you see I've got the engine instruments here, and if I tap it, I get the three tabs, the main, the aux, and the fuel calc tab, and it has the EFIS battery voltage and my main bus voltage here. Fuel flow and fuel pressure are here. And then you've got aux, where I've got my carbon monoxide level and ignition 2 battery voltage. And then there's the fuel calculation tab. Now if I go to menu and go to setup, display, and then change, where's that, EIS engine page layout to separate. Now you see how it changed. Let's go back. And now I've got the bus voltage and EFIS battery backup voltage here. If I tap, it leaves this the same. It doesn't give you the bigger gauges, and then it combines everything into this one gauge here. So we've still got fuel flow, or fuel PSI, fuel flow here, and it takes it from there, puts it over here, and now we've got just two tabs, fuel calc and the main tab with CHTs, alternator amps, carbon monoxide level, and then the ignition backup battery voltage. So yeah, just a little thing that you can change there, display, combined, and now we're back to this method or this display. Now if I tap this, see how I get these large gauges on this side, and then everything is put into here with a separate page for the ignition backup and carbon monoxide. But on the main page, yeah, we get everything in there. So I'll have to mess around with that. I'm not sure which one I'm going to like. I kind of like this for engine start, get all this stuff right up front. So we'll see. I just have to fly it and see, and it's completely personal preference, but I thought I'd show you how that gets changed around. Alright, got a pair of visor mounts here from Jeff Combs over at Aerosport Products, and he came up with these. He found that the Rosen sun visors, we had those in the Cessna when we used to own that, and just absolutely love them. Really nice sun visors, and they're pretty expensive. I think right now they're in the, I don't know, $600 to $750 range for a pair of sun visors for certified airplanes. However, since we're experimental, we can use non-certified equipment or non-STC'd hardware in here. And Jeff figured out that the Rosen sun visors that are designed for the Mini Cooper actually fit up here very well. So he came up with this design, just a couple of plastic clamps that clamp around that tube up there on either side, and then it's got this mount here for the visors. He's got it all measured out and everything, sent all the screws for it. So we bought these from Aerosport Products. I think they were $75 for that pair. And then the sun shades, the visor shades, were $300, I think, from Rosen over in Eugene, Oregon. So yeah, if you got S21, you don't know about these yet, and if you're looking for them visors, it's probably about a $400 investment in that. And right now, I haven't seen them on the Aerosport Products website, so you need to contact Jeff Combs directly, or actually Aerosport Products directly. If you go to the website and just send an email to the contact email on their website, they'll get back to you with pricing, and you can pay through that way. So yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, I'm digging this this sun visor here. This is going to be a really nice deal. You can adjust it up and down this way. Obviously, you can flip it down, pull it back this way. Do that. It's got a little deal here. You can turn that screw loose, then you can, too tight, scoot that out. However you want to make that fit. But yeah, these are nice visors. We used to have something similar to these in our Cessna when we had that, and this is actually the visor. I can't remember if I mentioned it already. This is actually a visor for a Mini Cooper, and I bought this from direct from the company. But yeah, so good nice mount that Aerosport Products made there. Really really appreciate that. That's going to make things really nice. Alright, sorry for this not being a real exciting kind of a video, but more aimed toward those that have the G3X maybe and don't know about some of those little features. In, let's see, yesterday I think I said it started in version 9.2. This is on 9.51, and just thought maybe it'd be good to show some of that in case you've got this system in your airplane, and yeah, have some new expanded features in these newer releases. So, alright everybody, thanks for watching the video. Hope y'all have a good evening, and that's it for now.